Welcome back to Simbright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this class, I'll be showing you how to sew this beautiful cone sleeve. This cone sleeve is actually trending. So right here you can see it has already been sewn to the basic sleeve. Once sewn on the basic sleeve, next is to sew into the bodies, okay? So these are the cones. You can see there are 5 number right here, and they are actually well lined, looking beautiful and well topsy. So if this is what you want to learn, stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. My cone shape is going to be a half circle. So this is my fabric, and I'll be using what I cut here to serve as the pattern for this cone sleeve. So this is my half circle, and I'm going to cut the half circle, as you can see. So having folded my fabric from this point, I'll start taking the measurement of 6 inches, 6 inches all around. So you can also make it 5 inches. It depends on how big you want your cone to be. So I'm going to cut now. So I'm going to use this doll face satin fabric to serve as my lining, while I'll be using this fabric for the men dress. So I've cut out one of this cone. So it depends on how long you want your sleeve that will determine how many cones you'll be having. So I can make 5 cones, I can make 6 cones, or even 7 cones, depending on how long the sleeve is going to be. So I'm going to use this pattern right now. I will use it to cut out my fabric. I'm cutting my fabric 5 cones. I'm cutting 5 cones, so I'll keep it on top of each other, and I'll keep cutting. So to make it easy for us, you can fold your fabric by 2 and place your cone and place your pattern. So you can see I have 2, 3, 4, 5 of it, and I have the lining 5 pieces as well. So I'm using the doll face satin fabric for my lining. So I have 5 number already cut right here. So I'll set the lining aside, and now we are going to iron our interfacing. Okay, so we are using our interfacing. So what I have here is a peplum stay, so that's what we are going to use to stay each of the fabric. We are staying only the fabric, not the lining. So I'll just go ahead and lay my interfacing on each one of them with my hot iron. I'm going to iron it out right now. So I'm going to lay my interfacing on all of them, okay, the 5 cones pieces. So your iron really needs to be hot. So you can see I'm trying to make sure Alright, so I'm done placing my interfacing on all of them. So now the next thing I will do is to bring in my lining. You can see the lining, there is no interfacing. This is the one with interfacing. So I'll lay it right side to right side. Now I'll go over to the machine now. I'm going to sew the circle parts, leaving this part open. Okay, so I'll do that for all of them. So I'll sew all of them, right side to right side. Sewing lining and fabric together, the 5 pieces right here. So I'm going to trim off reduce the seams. Okay, so I will be using this one to demonstrate to you what I'm going to do for all of them. So when you are cutting out the seams, please be careful you don't cut out your stitches. So once you have reduced the seam, next is to turn to the right side. So once I've turned to the right side, I'm also going to iron it out now. I'm going to iron it out on the edge. Just iron it out on the edge and give it a good press. Alright, so now I'm done turning all the edges. I've turned all, trimmed and torn. So I'm going to iron it now, because if you look at this, you can see we need to have this exactly on the edge this way. So to achieve that, I'm using my hemming gum. So I just cut out a little of my hemming gum and insert it at that edge. So by the time I iron, it sticks for me. So here I'll start ironing. So I'm going to distribute my hemming gum and spread it apart all over the edge. Okay, so you can see I'm pushing it in a way that my fabric, my lining will not be showing at the part of the fabric. So with my hot iron right now, I'll keep ironing the edges. So you can see with the hemming gum right now, it's sticking right on top of that, the lining and the fabric. So you can see it has a good feel right now. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the same thing, iron all of this, then we'll proceed to the next stage. All right, so I'm done ironing all of them. I've ironed them now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to turn it the right. All right, so I'm done sewing all my 5 cones right now. So now I'm going to reduce the seams. You can see I stitched at 0.5, but I'm going to reduce my seams very, very closely. Please be careful you don't cut out your seam. So by the time I reduce it, we'll have our cone. So we are going to iron this cone right now, and I'll show you how to do that. So I'll cut the rest, trim off the edges of the rest, then we'll go ahead and iron to form the cone. So I'll be using this to show you how to go about the ironing of your cone. So this is the part we reduced right now, and I'm going to place my iron this way. Okay, so especially on the parts, on that part that we stitched, you just go ahead and iron it round to form that cone effect. Okay, so you can see we have the cone effect right now. So that's how I'm going to iron the rest before we go ahead and attach it to the sleeve. You can see all the cones have been ironed, as you can see. So now I'm going to bring my basic sleeve. So this is my basic sleeve. I'll place it on my fabric and cut out the front sleeve. Okay, I place it and cut out my front sleeve, lining and fabric. So I've cut out my basic sleeve right now, and I added 0.5 inch seam allowance and half an inch on the side. So I'll take off my basic sleeve pattern, and here you can see I cut it out with my lining, because you need to sew this with your lining. So I'll go over right now to my machine. I'm going to finish up my hem. Okay, I'll finish my hem and run my stitch and top stitch, then bring it back to show you how to sew the coat. So I'm done sewing the boat and I've top stitched. So that is how you have your sleeve, okay, before you go ahead and sew your cone. So this is the grain line, and so for the first cone I'm going to leave 0.5 inch to sew this into the armhole. Then I'm going to secure with my pin, so make sure you have it at the center. Then the next one, I'll keep it right on top of this. You can see how I placed it. So after that one, I'll come in with the next cone, place on top of it, as you can see. Then next one, I'll place on top of this, as you can see. And the last one, I'll have it right here. So I'll go over right now and stitch on top of this. First I'll hold it like this, top stitch on it, top stitch this on this, top stitch this like that, till I hold on this cone. So now it's time for us to start sewing the cone. So the first cone, like I demonstrated on the table, I'll just tack it. You can see that I've tacked it after 0.5 inch. So now you can see I've tacked it at that point. So the next one will rest on top of it like this. I'll take off my pin and I'll come on top of it like this. I'll also do what? Tack it at that point. So you can see how I held the first one, the second one, then the third one. I'll take off the pin and I'm going to place it still on the grain line, this on top of this, and then I will make a tack again. So that is how I'm going to tack the rest of them now. So right now we are done sewing them. So you can see all of them has been tacked. Even at the hemline, I have to tack it on these parts. I tacked here like I showed you. So you can see the cone is actually looking beautiful. So the next thing we are going to do, look at the lining. You can see the tacks are still neat inside. So next is to merge your side sleeve. So I'm going to sew my side sleeve right now, then I'll turn it around. So now I'm done sewing the sides, as you can see. So I'm going to turn it to the right side, right? All right, so that is it. I've turned it to the right side. Okay, so this is the same line. So thank you very much for coming to this tutorial, and I believe this class was helpful. So if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you for coming. See you in the next class. Bye.